Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to review Week 16 of the 2024-25 NBA Dream Team season. And so another great week for us, continuing to rocket up the leaderboard. As you can see, a 13.09 this week, which was 34th for the round, in the top 1% of the round, which is pretty cool. Maybe 1 point something percent because there's only 2,600 players. But we moved up 32 spots, so we're now inside the top 200 in the top 7% overall. So I guess the next goal is to scrape into the top 5%, which is still about 30 spots away. But if we continue with this trajectory, we will do okay. So in terms of the team this week, we captained SGA for a 163, which was a pretty decent result. Maxi unfortunately got injured in his first game, so missed the other games leading into the All-Star weekend, but fortunately came back afterwards. Scored us 52, but I guess that does lose us a bit of cash, which isn't ideal. Thompson and Daniels both turning up, so a 113 and a 112, so some good movement there from those guys. Butler sort of, I guess, took some time replacing Maxi, so got 30 points that we weren't expecting, but still wasn't enough to cover the break-even. Jokic with a 162, obviously the right captaincy choice there. And Hayes with 75 continues to make us some good money on the bench. LeBron James and Tatum both scoring well with a 157 and a 126, so that's fantastic. I guess the real bad news for our team is Wemby is gone for the season with deep vein thrombosis. Easy for you to say. So there is a forced move there. But Towns with a 186 was actually the highest scorer, so could have been a few more points as our captain, but it didn't quite work out for us this time. And Post with a 49 is a pretty solid return as well. Given that I think Butler went across there in the updated depth chart, Post is no longer the starting centre. So maybe one we can keep for a week or two, but might not make as much cash as we'd had hoped. So if we have a look at the weekly matchup, so a good win over Beastiano, who scored at 925. So he captained Sabonis, who would have scored, 136, so pretty decent return there. It's definitely on our radar in terms of a Wemby replacement. Braun with a 90, it's pretty solid for the price. Doncic with 86, so you'd want a little bit more from him. He's still trying to obviously find his way into the Lakers setup, returning from injury as well. And then a few cheapies, Diabate, Koulibaly, Agbaji, middling sort of scores there. So I think once again I've topped the overall in the league, but a couple of good scores from ChatGPT and Reno's Rockets. So a 1269 from Chet, so Captain Jokic, which is always a safe bet. Reeves with a 119 is pretty solid. I don't think he's that expensive. Only 14 mil, so it would have been 13.5 last week. So a pretty good get there. Steph Curry with a 136 was nice. Hero with a 120 at the Heat. Edwards and Williams both turning up as well. So lots of tons, which you love to see. And Reno with a 1252. And I did see briefly on the screen there, we're matching up this week, top of the table. So should be a cracker, but he's got Captain Jokic as well, LeBron, Amon, Wagner with a 124, so good to see he's back up and running at 15 mil, represents some good value. Donovan Mitchell with a 120, again sort of that middling price, which is handy, and Edwards as well. So some good results there. Cool. So I guess overall this week we'll have a look at some of the key players. Aside from the players we've already looked at, Mobley with a 178, that's pretty massive for a 16.5 mil centre power forward. Could be a useful get this week. We'll have a look at the schedule. Especially break even at 45 could make us a bit of cash. Could bridge the gap to another keeper a bit easier. Durant with a 163 is pretty good. Reed at 12.5 mil, scoring a 147 for the Timberwolves is pretty good. So probably, if you're going to go Mobley, probably go Reed at the cheaper price. Sabonis we've talked about obviously is in that conversation for a straight keeper swap. Cunningham continues to produce. Fox only available at point guard. Harden. Butler settling in well there at the Warriors with a 130. So for 13 mil, could be a bit of value there. If we keep scrolling, can we find any 7-figure guys? Not really. Draymond Green's pretty close at one at 10.5. So Alvarado with a 103 as a point guard. That's pretty impressive. Might have to check the depth chart there on that one. Break even at 17. Looks pretty nice. So yeah, not listed as a first choice there. So you can see a few changes as well. I haven't explored all these, but I know, like, for example, Bezelis is super cheap. As starting power forward could be useful. So Braun's not that cheap anymore. I haven't explored all of these, but probably the one I am interested in is Biyombo, the replacement for Wemby. So B-I-Y, I can't spell. So a cheap centre starting for the Spurs. How did he end up scoring in the last couple of games? So yes, I only really came in this game week, so a 14 and a 2, and then maybe 26 was the one game where he actually got a bit of a start. So definitely one to consider as a cheapy option there. Speaking of cheapy options, let's have a look at some break-evens. So Jabari Walker, off for 68 this week with a negative 17. Don't know if he's on the Trailblazers. Doesn't look like it. He's not a starter. Edwards with a 75 for, is that Dallas? Could potentially be on. Doesn't look like it. Matkovic with an 86 for the Pelicans. So I don't think I saw his name on the list either. No, but maybe, sort of rotational type guys that could be useful. Damian Bohr, 2 games, so I'm guessing he only came into the squad this week, so it could be a bit of potential at essentially bottom dollar. Who's that for? Charlotte? Yeah, we can have a bit of a look at Charlotte, I suppose. Definitely not a starter, but we will bring up the depth chart for them. Look a bit closer. Yeah, so sort of third in the line. Oh, so Peyton's gone to Charlotte. I'm pretty sure he was at New Orleans at one stage when he was in our team. Is he still featuring? He must have played some games because he's not featuring high on the break-even list anymore. Moody with a 95. So I guess that looks good for the future. Landau, the Australian. So if you want to get the Aussie flavour going, you can bring him in. So perhaps there is a few cheapy options this week. But we'll have a look at the team. So obviously, as we said, the big one out is Wemby. And I guess it depends who we bring in and what we do that will dictate our second move. So, given the state of our squad, we probably do want to go with a more expensive option. Um, Obviously, Sabonis is the standout, given that he's in our budget. Giannis is currently a bit too high. Davis is on the injury list as well, so not worth considering. But then Mobley, we just looked at, is actually eighth on the list. So, well positioned in terms of um, power forwards. Well, yeah, so with the break even of 45 is pretty nice too. But we probably need to look at the schedule for this week to see how many games they've all got. Um, so looking through just quickly, they're all threes and fours. So um, what are we looking for? Sacramento. So the Kings only have three, which is a bit of a disadvantage there to Sabonis. Giannis does have four, so if we can find the extra bit of cash, I think Giannis is well worth bringing in. Um, just double check the injury report. Haven't done any of this yet, but it's not there. Can I go back to yesterday? No. Don't know why it's not there. Go this one. Alright. I don't know what this is about, but that's fine. See if he's on here. Doesn't look like it yet, so I don't know. I'll have to dig into that deeper. Won't worry too much about it. We'll assume everyone's fit for the time being. Mobley, so pretty sure that was the Cavs, only plays three. Yep, so that's a bit disappointing. Maybe someone like a Reed. So Memphis only play three as well. I'm pretty sure that's. Oh no, it's Minnesota. Sorry. So Minnesota play four. So do we go the real cheap sort of option? If I go back a couple of pages here, Minnesota. So it's not like he's the starting center, so I'm not too sure what's going on there. But it says Randall didn't play, but he is back on the depth chart, so assuming he's back in this week. Where is he? There. No, there. So I guess the other option, we did look at the cheap centre from the Spurs, so we could potentially shift Hayes in. But then I suppose, where are we going to use all of that money? So let's see if we can get Giannis. We'll have to find a mill somewhere. And I guess if we are to bring in Biombo, it'd probably have to be for Hayes, I'd imagine, to make it work, whereas he was break even of 17. So let's see if I can get him on this list. Or was he? I don't know. I might have got it wrong. Oh no, that was Alvarado that we were looking at. I think he was a bit higher anyway on the break even, 30 something. So I can probably filter him out, can't we? That would help. Yeah, so break even of 34. And then even then, I don't think we'd quite make it with the slightly under a mil, and we need slightly over a mil. So I think that's off the table. And so we've already got Culver, who is like a bottom dollar option, so that's not ideal. So potentially we'll be looking at trading Post out. So what if we then filter by players we can afford? And we'll go by projection, because then we can see their projected score as well, which is sometimes useful. So nothing really stands out as being super useful there. So what if I put Post back in? Oh, then we won't be able to afford anyone. Take out Giannis. Change the projection around. So Zion projected highly. That'd be pretty interesting. Siakam. Indiana's got 4 games this week. What about next week? Don't know why I was looking for a scroll just then. So they've only got 3 next week, so could be interesting. What's his break even of 137? So he's probably on the losing cash. I think we said Minnesota's only got 3 this week, didn't we? No, Minnesota's got 4 this week. So do we go Reed? And then so some interesting projections here. But, guess let's turn the projections on for our team. So what are these guys projected? So this week, Thompson with just the 73, and Maxi with the 77. So I'm assuming that's just because they're playing 3 each. Yes, Houston playing 3. I guess with Maxi losing a bit of cash, do we look to upgrade him potentially? So what if? See, so this opens all the options up. Obviously, we could go Cunningham, we could go Doncic. We can basically do what we want. So Cunningham looks pretty good, projected 146 with just a break even of 98. And it's fairly sideways, but Maxi will lose a bit of cash this week. Someone like Hero, maybe, we did see. Pretty good value based on projection. Still got a couple of. Oh, I forgot we got 3 trades. I kept thinking it was 2 trades for some reason. But also, I thought we had enough trades to cover us for the rest of the year. Which, oh yeah, I guess we do. We only got 6 weeks. So do we potentially go another boost somewhere? So a slight downgrade with Wemby, but we could potentially upgrade. We could, really go all out somewhere. So like if we were to trade out Thompson, boost, and then potentially upgrade Daniels as well. So 54 mil, we'd go pretty close. We'd get like Cunningham. Edwards is pretty good, potentially an upgrade. But then I guess you look at some of these other prices, and Eamon's at 15. Is it really an upgrade at that point? So what if we put him back in? Let's trade Edwards out and back in. So do we not use the boost this week? We've got 5 mil to spend. I guess it seems a bit of a waste of a trade, but can we potentially get a moneymaker in instead of the dead rookie with Culver? Looking at the break evens, maybe Grimes is the best chance of making some money. Or Resacker, break even of 8, so he's potentially on the way up. What if we flip it? So Jabari with a negative 17, so Portland. We'll have a closer look at Portland depth chart. So features fairly low down the list of power forward centre. But then I guess the question might be, is that a waste of a trade? Even to Maxi to Cunningham, is that a waste? I guess really that's all we're doing is we're trying to get matchups for the next few weeks. So pretty sure, yeah, Cunningham's Detroit, which is 4 this week, 4 next week. So I think that's good. Good trade. Edwards, 4 and 4, so good trade up from Daniels. And yeah, so Reed obviously 4 and 4 as well. Hopefully can make us some good cash. So do we keep the boost up our sleeve? We've got 5 mil in the bank. Got a pretty decent starting 5 this week. I mean, we could upgrade Eamon and really be aggressive, which I think we will. So Eamon out. And yeah, we're not too concerned with break even at this point. We want projection. So what about, do we go Doncic? What's the Lakers' schedule like? It's only 3 next week, 4 this week. I probably want a 4 and a 4 if I'm gonna trade. You'll, I guess, use a boost, I should say. What about Miami with Hero? 4, and then 4 next week. Only projected at 108 though. And what was Thompson like? No, so there's a boost worth 30 points this week. Because I mean, probably next week Houston will be back to 4 games, so they'll be like for like. All right, let's push him back. So yeah, so I think that's the play. We'll downgrade Wemby a bit, but we're sort of solidifying the guards with Maxi and Daniels out, who's been massive for us this year. So it's kind of sad to see him go. Actually, because I thought he was projected to score well. Do we? Is this the super aggressive move? So we go Thompson to Edwards this week. What's Atlanta doing next week? 4 as well. Oh, only 3 this week. That's weird that he's projected so highly. Is he going that well that we have to play him? Don't know. Maybe. Don't know if he'll get that projection, but his break even is good. Probably better than Thompson's was from memory. Let's have a look. I'll just trade Edwards back out for a second so we can see. Yeah, break even of 70, projected 73. So I think that's a right call. Let's keep a boost up our sleeve. We don't need to lose our head. But maybe just one more quick look at break even, see if there's anyone we must get on. I mean, is the money that Walker's going to make any good? Probably not. Let's have a look at New Orleans with Makovich, maybe. Depth. So he is listed at number 2 as a centre option. So there could be some time there. Alvarado there as well. So I guess he's only power forward centre, so we'd have to trade for probably Post or Hayes. I guess with a projection of 33, we could potentially let Post go. What's Walker projected to this week? Only 28 projected. No, I don't think it's worth it. Let's just make those trades. Stop mucking around. So schedule this week. So Denver with 4, OKC with 4. So I might just switch this around. I think we went SGA just because he did have the extra game on Jokic, but we'll lock Jokic in this week. Other than that, if we hit our projection of 1291, that would be pretty sick, I would have thought. So I might leave it as that. I'll try and squeeze everyone in as best we can. But you can see the names and the numbers there, so that'll do. But we'll wrap the video up there. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a thumbs up, a like if you enjoyed the NBA content. Subscribe for all the SuperCoach content on the channel. All the fantasy sports channel, I should say, on the channel, not just SuperCoach. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.